Hello guys, thanks for the support on the last video. Sorry this one's a little, but anyways, let's get on with the story. Chapter 3. Naruto sensed his nephew waking back up inside of him. It had been about a week and a half since he'd gotten his memories, and he was having a pleasurable time. However, his nephew, Kurama, had been sleeping and he hadn't been able to see him yet, much to his displeasure. So when Kurama started moving, he sat up in bed and fell into a meditative position and dropped into his mindscape. He was immediately depressed as he was met with a sewer. Realizing this, he changed it into a giant field next to a large lake, with Kurama's cage turning into a cave. He would let the fox wander his mind after he'd spoken to him about possession, because while he could most definitely push him back, it would be a pain if he kept trying, which he didn't think he would anyway once he'd seen him. He walked up to the cave and stepped inside, wandering down the hall until he reached a large cage with a seal on it. Glowing red eyes opened up with a growl. So my host has finally graced me with his presence. What do you want, Gaki? Naruto ignored him and floated up to the seal, inspecting it with his Sharingan active. The fox saw his red eyes and started slamming into the cage. The damn Sharingan. I will not have a host with the Sharingan. Let me rip your eyes out, you little meatbag. Shush, Kurama. You're annoying me. What? You can't talk to me like that, human. Naruto's eyes turned to the Byakugan now and he looked at the demon with an annoyed look. I said shush. I can't really examine this seal if you're shaking the cage. You have two dojutsus? Only dash. Your family has that? Kurama. I'm surprised you didn't notice. The fox eyed him and then his eyes widened. Ajisama? Yes, it's me. Now shush. I am your Jinchuriki in this life. The fox stayed silent and Naruto tapped a few things on the seal, pressing chakra into it. It turned to light and wrapped around the demon fox's neck, making the cage disappear. Now, I will leave you free to wander my mind if you don't try to possess me. Of course. I just want to stretch my legs. And honestly, you'd win that fight, so I'd be an idiot to try, especially if it could distract you in battle and get us both killed. Thank you. That makes things easier. At this, he floated down to sit on the fox's head and scratch behind his ear absent-mindedly. I could probably pseudo-summon you into a battle to stretch your legs. I'll have to look into that. Oh. Kimimaro mumbled angrily as he jumped through the forest. Kabuto, that scheming bastard. He'd found out that instead of healing him, he was poisoning him, and that's why he was sick. The worst part, the one that broke Kimimaro's icy heart, was that Lord Orochimaru had deemed him unneeded and unworthy and had been the one to order the poisoning. Now he was lost. He didn't know what to do with himself. Lord Orochimaru had been his reason for living. He didn't have any family left. He was dying. The poison had already deteriorated his lungs enough that he had trouble breathing. His heart was also thumping heavily, swollen in his chest as it had been for months, but at least he wasn't drinking any more poison. He heard the sound of sparring ahead and he followed it curiously, landing in a tree above where two people were having a spar with white swords. Wait a minute. Those looked like bones. He tuned into the words the silver-haired boy was saying to the raven-haired boy. I told you that you'd probably awaken the Kagaya bloodline with the bond. The raven shrugged. I never expected to actually get it. It's very rare. Kimimaro was frozen in place. They had his bloodline? That meant they were related somehow. He did have family. The silver-haired boy spoke again. Yeah, but seeing as my mother was the creator of the bloodline, it's only normal that my first blood bond would grant you one of my more effective bloodlines, seeing as you already have the Byakugan. Kimimaro felt a jolt of pain in his chest and he hissed in pain, though he tried to stop it. Immediately, the silver-haired boy's head snapped in his direction and his Byakugan eyes narrowed in suspicion. Kimimaro felt another jolt, and this time it was more powerful, and he whimpered slightly, clutching at his chest. His vision suddenly started receding and blackness crept up. No. Not another blackout. Not when he'd finally found his family. They'd probably kill him for spying now before he could explain. He was encompassed in darkness and he fell. Oh!
Naruto heard a hiss of pain during his spar with Neji and his head snapped that direction, looking for whatever had made it. He spotted something white in the trees and then he heard a whimper. Seconds later, the white moved, heading downwards quickly, crashing through the branches heavily. He sped forward and saw a teenager a bit older than his current body falling quickly, unconscious, with blood trickling from his mouth. He immediately caught him upon seeing the Kagaya markings on his forehead and he knew he was correct when the boy was heavier than he was supposed to be, his bones denser. He'd found the last Kagaya he'd heard about. He carried him back to Neji and laid him down gently. He was in the trees.
Neji's eyes narrowed. A spy?
He slipped a kunai out into his hand.
Naruto shook his head. The last Kagaya besides me. I'm guessing that he heard us and came to see what it was about. Why did he collapse though? He activated his Byakugan and looked over the boy's body, looking for what was wrong.
His eyes immediately caught on his heart, which was swollen and beating sluggishly as black liquid seeped through his veins.
Poison. It came out in a hiss. He immediately pulled the boy's top off and ran his hands over where his heart was, doing a medical scan. Shit. 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 His heart is failing. Neji was immediately at his side. If you were to close his tenketsu around his heart, it would slow the poison, and if you were to use a small amount of Kurama's chakra, it would destroy the poison. It would also wreak havoc on his body. That you can heal. You can't heal poison. It'll be painful. It's that or death. Which would you prefer? Naruto winced. Yeah, can you hold him down? It's painful.
Neji nodded and held him down and Naruto quickly shut off the chakra flow from his heart, stopping the Kyuubi's chakra from spreading past the poison area.
He grimaced and then pressed Kurama's chakra into the Kagaya's chest and heart.
Immediately, the teen arched his back and screamed in agony, trying to thrash as his body spasmed in pain.
Naruto grit his teeth and kept going until the poison was gone, before he immediately pressed healing chakra in, extracting Kurama's chakra as he went. The teen's thrashing died down and he fell limp, wheezing.
Naruto healed all the damage done and then, once the Kagaya was relaxed once more, he picked him up. Sorry Neji.
Can we finish this spar later? Of course. A life is more important than training. Let's go back.
Naruto nodded and they started heading back to the manor with the unconscious teen in Naruto's arms.
Oh. Kimimaro woke up feeling groggy and not quite sure what happened.
He remembered seeing the two wielding bones and then one of his blackouts that were becoming more common. Then for some reason, pain, immense pain, but from what he didn't know. He couldn't be dead, though he thought he would be, because he could feel and he didn't think you could feel pain in the afterlife. He heard a door open and he tried to open his eyes, but he felt heavy.
Then a voice spoke, "You awake? I felt your chakra spike."
He struggled harder to come to consciousness and the footsteps had walked away when he finally managed to get his voice working again. The weak, wait.
The footsteps stopped and then came back over. Can you move? Any chakra exhaustion? Why yeah, no chakra. Ah, understood.
He felt a hand touch his chest and then a steady, soothing flow of chakra went through his coils until he could move again. He opened his eyes, but the hand didn't move away until he was fully replenished. He looked up to see the silver-haired boy from before, but this time with normal blue eyes instead of the pale pupilless ones he'd had before. Where am I? Though he was replenished, his voice was cracking from disuse.
How long had he been out? You're at my house, Kagaya-san. You fell unconscious and we caught you and brought you here. The pain?
I destroyed the poison coursing through your coils and heart, but I had to use the Kyuubi's chakra to do so.
It was the only way.
I healed you afterwards, but it will still hurt for a few days, which is why you'll be taking it easy.
It's gone? It is.
You've been unconscious for about 3 days.
You're in the room I'm going to give you if you want to live with me. I know you're the last Kagaya besides me. So you are a Kagaya? I am. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namake's Kage Otsutsuki. Kimimaro's eyes widened. Namake's? As in the fourth Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato? He's my father. However, we don't mean you any harm. I was hoping you'd join my clan. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I don't force anything. It's your choice. If you do decide to do it, you'll be blood bonded into the clan and you'll gain some new abilities, one most likely being monstrous chakra levels, as my entire clan has thanks to me being an Otsutsuki. You actually want me in your clan? Not just for my bloodline, right? I don't want to be bred like an animal. Naruto shook his head. I don't allow my clan members to be put under the CRA unless they choose to do so. And yes, we want you as part of the clan. A family can never be too big, and honestly, if I know Dad, he'll be happy with a new son, as he calls all the younger clan members. Son? He's oddly cheerful always, unless it's a battle. I see. My father was a horrible man that locked me in a cage and turned me into a weapon. Naruto winced. Ouch, my dad's nothing like that. Actually, if he ever saw such monstrous acts, he'd rip the perpetrator to shreds. If you don't want to be overly fathered and smothered, don't tell him that. Kimimaro nodded. All right. He shifted until he was sitting, ignoring the pain in his chest. How do we do this blood bonding thing? You've already made your decision? Yes, this place is infinitely better than my cage or Lord Orochimaru's hideouts getting poisoned. Naruto winced again. Yeah, alright. It goes like this. Oh. Sarutobi slammed his hands down onto his desk. What? Naruto spoke calmly, ignoring Kimimaro, who was behind him. Sakura poisoned me. That's how I died when I first got my powers. It wasn't the tree crushing me. Kurama could have fixed that with just a little trouble. My heart exploded in my chest. Sarutobi was beyond pissed. You're sure it was Sakura? I am. Mabuki has gone too far if her daughter would kill her own teammates. Sakura will be punished. It doesn't need to be anything big, but I do not want her on my team. That is understood. She will be removed from the program completely for instability in the mind and attempted murder. The problem is who to replace her with when the Chunin exams come up in 4 days. I already have a replacement that Sasuke already knows and gets along with. Oh? Kimimaro was a former science experiment of the Hibi team, Orochimaru. He was brainwashed until he discovered that they were poisoning him on purpose when he ran away. He's the last Kagaya besides me and Niji, who's awoken the Kagaya bloodline with the blood bonding. He's already trained to be a ninja and I trust him with my life. He was treated horribly until he found me. Sarutobi looked at Kimimaro, who bowed in respect. Hokage-sama. It's a pleasure to meet you. The same. So, do you want to be on Naruto's team? He has proven one of the few people that don't use me for my power, and he saved my life when my heart failed. Yes, I would like to join his team. Sarutobi nodded. Then it will be done. Naruto smiled. Thanks. I'll tell your little prankster to lay off. You know who it is? Of course I do. I wouldn't let another prankster on my turf without knowing him. Who is it? I swear, someone's come to haunt me. Naruto snickered. That would ruin the secret, wouldn't it? He wanted you to find out on your own, Professor. Sarutobi groaned. Damn it. We can't even catch him. Of course you can't. He's the fastest man alive besides me. Who is it? Naruto tapped his chin and then sent a questioning pulse of chakra out towards his father. He got an answering one back and he smirked at Sarutobi before he pulled out a kunai and threw it to impale the desk. There's a quite irate father that wants to talk to you, Sarutobi Gigi. Sarutobi looked at the blade and saw the 3 prongs before he paled. Oh God, no, please not him. There was a flash of yellow light and Minato appeared with a dark smile on his face. Let's have a talk about my son, shall we? Sarutobi paled further and Naruto pulled Kimimaro out of the room and looked at the secretary. You might want to clear his schedule for today. He'll be busy. An important person just showed up. The secretary nodded. Name please? Mine or the person's? Yours, so that I know who recommended it to tell Hokage-sama. Hamura Otsutsuki, the Otsutsuki clan head. She nodded and bowed frantically. I'm sorry, Otsutsuki-sama. I had no idea that it was you. It's perfectly acceptable. That is all. And they were gone in a flash. Oh. The day before the Chunin exams, a clan meeting was called. Minato smiled and threw Naruto a kunai, just in case, though I doubt you need it. Naruto smiled and hugged his father. Thanks, Dad. I'll remember that. Bye, we're your finest. Naruto smiled and then went to change in an outfit that was the replica of his old one. He brushed his hair and left it down except for the bang that was wrapped in the bandages. Lastly, he made his eyes into their Byakugan form, though not activated. With this done, he headed towards the council chambers on foot. He reached them and slipped inside to see that Sarutobi was the only one there so far. He gestured to a seat to the right of him and Naruto nodded as he sat down. Hello, Hokage-sama. Formal, I see. Of course. I would be obligated to, no? Being the most powerful one here, besides you. Sarutobi smiled. Yes, I suppose you would. Are you still going to go by Hamura in the beginning? I am, though by the end of this meeting, I'm sure they will have discovered my true identity, at least this time's true identity. I'm sure as well, though we can't be certain. How is Kimimaro-san doing? Quite well. By the way, Orochimaru plans on attacking during the exams, which I will be participating in with my team. Niji has also chosen a last name at last. Orochimaru? You're sure? Yes, Kimimaro was his right-hand man besides someone named Kabuto. They currently think that Kimi is dead because of some works of myself. I see. Kimi? His nickname. He hates it, but I love teasing him. I see. Alright, I'll remember Orochimaru. By the way, you said Niji-san had decided on a name? Yes. He recently woke the Kagaya bloodline, so he has decided on Kagaya Otsutsuki, though he's just going by Kagaya for now. I'll make sure it goes on record. This meeting will actually include his defection from the Hyuga, I'm sure of it. I expect this, as well as a few of my clan members, Sasuke and Kimimaro, being put into CRA, which I will not allow. If that is what you wish and you play your cards right, that will happen. Yes, this meeting shall be interesting. Oh. It was about 10 minutes later that everyone else started arriving. The shinobi side arrived first, as expected, but the civilian council took an additional extra 20 minutes. Once everyone was finally seated, Sarutobi stood up. We will skip the pleasantries and get straight to the meeting, so what's the first issue? Danzo stood. There's been rumor of a new clan head of the Otsutsuki clan. Is this verified? Sarutobi nodded. It is. His name is Hamura Otsutsuki. Is he here? Hamura. Naruto stood. I am. My name is Hamura Otsutsuki. Do not let looks deceive you, for I am over 1,000 years old. There were many gasps around the room and then he sat back down, gesturing that he was done. Danzo schooled his shock away and spoke again. I have heard that you are bringing people into your clan. Is this true? It is. Niji Hyuga is one. It is Niji Kagaya due to him changing it upon gaining the Kagaya bloodline, but yes, Niji joined my clan. That is against the laws. It is not. If a member of a weaker, no offense Hayashi-san, clan wants to leave and the head of a more powerful clan accepts them into their clan, it is perfectly legal. Danzo's eyes narrowed. He is marked with the caged bird seal, and therefore, a permanent member of the Hyuga main branch. You are incorrect, Danzo. I removed the caged bird seal myself. It's completely gone. Many of the civilian council gasped and one stood up. That's impossible. The caged bird seal cannot be removed. And yet I have. I am over 1,000 years old, as I said,
and the Otsutsuki clan is known for their godlike powers.
You are but a weak civilian, less than an ant to me. Kindly keep your tongue under check.
He felt the Hokage's amusement beside him, and the civilian leaned forward. Your clan is unheard of. I don't believe you were supposed to be here at all. All of the shinobi council hissed in anger, and Naruto stood, releasing a small dose of killer intent and laying his palms flat on the table in front of him. The Otsutsuki clan is the founding clan of all ninja. I am the ancestor to the Uchiha, Hyuga, Kagaya, and Uzumaki clans. My brother, the Sage of Six Paths, yes, you heard right, I'm the older brother of the Rikudo Sennin that you praise. He is the ancestor of the Senju, Inazuka, Yamanaka, Nara, Akimichi, and quite a few others, along with myself, smaller ones. My family founded ninjas, so as I said before, kindly hold your tongue in check. His voice became icy and his eyes dangerous. Before I remove it. The civilian sat, and his killer intent was reined back in as he sat down. Kindly continue the meeting.
Now he could definitely feel Sarutobi's amusement as Danzo spoke again. So then you are practically taking Niji Hyuga from his clan?
I did not take him.
He asked to join. I agreed. Danzo's eyes became angry, but he sat down, conceding his point.
Sarutobi looked around. Niji Kagaya has been permanently moved to the Otsutsuki clan, under their protection.
Now, what is the next point?
Mabuki Haruno stood now. Yes, I've heard that Sasuke Uchiha has also been adopted into the Otsutsuki and that Himura-san is not allowing him to join the CRA.
I wish to speak on this matter. Naruto shook his head. It is not that I am not allowing it. Sasuke simply wishes not to join the CRA, and the Otsutsuki clan respects the wishes of its clansmen. Therefore, he is not entering. Mabuki scowled. We need more Uchiha. Their clan is extinct except for 2, and one's a traitor. You cannot stop him from joining the CRA. Naruto shook his head once more. I am not stopping him. I am allowing his choice in the matter, and he does not wish to be a breeding machine. I understand the concerns of the Uchiha, but he will eventually get a wife and have kids. Plus there's the fact that I myself have the Sharingan and am already planning on reviving my clans, all of them. You cannot have the Sharingan. His eyes swirled into the Manjikyu. Please do not doubt my claims, Haruno. I can prove them, for I do not falsify anything and I do not lie. He heard many people gasp, before he returned his eyes to their unactivated Byakugan state and gestured for the meeting to commence. Mabuki was about to speak again, but Sarutobi spoke. It has been decided. Sasuke Uchiha will not participate in the CRA as he is under the protection of Otsutsuki-san. Mabuki growled and sat down, mumbling about her daughter. Danzo stood once more. There is also another rumor, one that says the last Kagaya has joined your clan. I express concern. It is well known by the higher-ups that the last Kagaya was a loyal follower of the traitorous snake Sannin, Orochimaru. Naruto stood now, intent on getting his point across with this. Kagaya-san was a victim of Orochimaru. He was experimented on in multiple occasions, and he was eventually poisoned when he lost use in the experiments. He managed to escape Orochimaru, and I found him near death right outside the gates of Konoha at a training ground. His heart was failing due to the poison, so I got rid of the poison and healed it. After this, since he is related to me, I offered him a place in my clan, which he gladly accepted, feeling that he owed me his life. Danzo's eyes narrowed as his accusations were pushed aside and sat down, but another civilian stood. He is the last remaining Kagaya. You cannot say that he's not going into the CRA either. He is not going into the CRA either. When he joined my clan, it was with the request that I not turn him into a breeding machine. I agreed happily, and I keep my promises. So, no, Kimimaro Kagaya will not be entering the CRA either. The civilian gave a shriek of rage. What do you mean? We need new bloodlines. Naruto's eyes narrowed. What kind of power do you think you have? You are here for counsel, not to vote. You are not here for ninja matters. That is up to the Shinobi Council, who haven't spoken yet. Sit and be quiet. This is not for your concern, civilian. The civilian paled at his killer intent and cold words and sat back down. Naruto nodded. That is better. Danzo spoke, the next thing you know, you'll be adopting the Uzumaki brat.
Naruto gained a dark smile. Oh, no, he doesn't need to be adopted. I shall explain how I am over 1,000-year-old.
I am a reincarnation. My last life's name was Hamura Otsutsuki. I was brought back originally as someone else.
I shall tell you my name in this time period. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Kagaya Otsutsuki, the current Jinchuriki to my dear nephew, the nine-tailed fox.
Utter silence. You could hear a pin drop, a heartbeat. Naruto smiled now, and there's nothing that you can do about it, lest you get executed for treason. Chaos ensued.